You know what's the strangest thing about our desires? We never really know what we want. Right now, stop and think. What do you truly want? Not on the surface, but deep inside. Most likely, something flashes in your mind. I want to be happy. I want money. I want love. I want peace. But if we look deeper, what is happiness? What amount of money would be enough? What kind of love? What kind of peace? We live on a never-ending carousel of desires. We wanted a new phone, we bought it. A month later, we want another one. We dreamed of that job, we got it. Now we want a promotion. We found our soulmate, now we want them to be different. As a kid, I wanted a bike. It felt like the key to happiness. My parents bought it, and I was happy for a week. Then I wanted a scooter. Then a car. Then a house. Then a family. See the pattern? Every fulfilled desire creates a new one. It's like running on a treadmill, moving, but never arriving. But the problem isn't the desires themselves. The problem is, who is desiring? Imagine standing in an ice cream shop. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. You pick chocolate, you eat it, it's delicious. Half an hour later you think, maybe vanilla would have been better. It's not about ice cream. It's about life. We choose jobs, partners, lifestyles. And somehow, it always feels a little off. Like we keep missing the target. But what target? That's the funny part, we don't even know. Ask anyone, what do you want from life? They'll say, to be happy. To live fully. To find myself. But what does that actually mean? Nobody knows. So the search begins. We read self-help books. We go to therapy. We meditate, we travel, we change jobs, partners, cities, countries. We look for happiness in success. If that fails, in relationships. If that fails, in spirituality. If that fails, in money. Then in creativity. And the circle repeats. It's like playing hide and seek with ourselves. But we forgot what we're looking for. One guy dreamed of being a musician. Years of struggle, practice, basement gigs. Finally, success, concerts, fans, money. And what? It's not what I wanted. Now he wants family and quiet. A girl dreamed all her life of family. A husband, kids, a house, a dog. She got it all. And what? I lost myself. Now she wants a career and independence. A businessman built an empire. Money, power, influence. And what? What's the point? Now he seeks spirituality. A monk meditated in a cave for 20 years. Peace, wisdom, enlightenment. And what? I want a normal human life. See the pattern? We always want what we don't have. And don't want what we do have. Why? Because we don't understand the nature of desire. We think desire points to what we truly need. But in reality, desire is just movement of the mind. Like waves on the ocean. The ocean doesn't get happier with big waves. And it doesn't suffer in calm. Waves are just what water does. Desire is just what the mind does. But we identify with the waves. We think, I want. I need. I must get. And we start chasing them. But it's impossible. Desire itself can't give satisfaction. When it's fulfilled, it disappears. And so does the joy of fulfillment. That's why we never know what we want. Because the one who wants doesn't actually want anything. It only knows one thing, to want. It's like asking fire, "What do you want?" Fire doesn't want anything. Fire just burns. Desire doesn't want anything. Desire just desires. And we mistake ourselves for desire. We search for fulfillment. For someone who cannot be fulfilled. So here's the key question. Not, what do you want, or why do you want? But who wants? You'll say, well, me. I want. Okay. And who are you? Look at your thoughts. They come and go. You don't control them. They just appear, like clouds in the sky. Are you your thoughts? No. You're the one who notices them. Look at your emotions. Joy, sadness, anger, fear. They change all the time. Are you your emotions? No. You're the one who feels them. Look at your body. Every cell is replaced every 7 years. The body you have now isn't the one you had before. Are you your body? No. You're the one living in it. So who are you? Most people panic here. They're used to identifying with thoughts, emotions, body, roles, achievements. I'm an engineer. I'm a mother. I'm successful. I'm a failure. But none of that is really you. That's just what happens to you. So who wants? Imagine a theater. Actors play different roles, a king, a beggar, a lover. But who are they really? Just people. Same with us. We play roles. I want money, ambitious role. I want love, romantic role. I want peace, wise role. But who plays these roles? Look closely, and you'll see, nobody in particular. There's just awareness. A space in which thoughts, feelings, sensations appear. You've never actually met yourself. You've met your thoughts, memories, emotions. But never the I itself. It's like looking in a mirror. You see the reflection. But never the one who's looking. So here's the surprise. If there's no I who wants, then who's wanting? Wanting happens on its own, like breathing. You don't want to breathe, breathing just happens. Desire is the same. It just arises. But we think, I want. And suddenly we feel responsible. For the desire and for making it happen. But look at it differently. You walk down the street, you see a sunset. The feeling of beauty arises. You say, I see a beautiful sunset. But actually, seeing just happens. Beauty just is. Same with desire. You walk past a cafe, you smell coffee. The desire to drink it arises. You say, I want coffee. But in truth, wanting just appeared. The difference sounds small. But it changes everything. When you believe, I want, you become a prisoner of desire. You must get it, or you suffer. But when you see that wanting just happens, you're free. You can drink the coffee, or not. The desire is there. But there's no one who must fulfill it. And that changes everything. Before, you were a slave to desires. I want a car, I must buy. I want love, I must find. I want success, I must achieve. Now you see, desires come and go like the weather. Sometimes sunny, sometimes rainy. But the sky doesn't suffer from rain. And it doesn't cling to the sun. You are the sky. Desires are just the weather. And some people get scared. If I stop wanting, I'll become passive. I won't do anything. That's an illusion. Life doesn't happen because someone wants. It happens on its own. Like the heartbeat. Like hair growing. Life lives itself, through you. But not as you. And one small technical note. If what you're hearing resonates, hit subscribe. It helps us spread these ideas. We also have a Telegram channel. So, when you realize there is no one who wants, the whole problem disappears. I don't know what I want, because there's no one here to not know, and nothing to know. You know what's the funniest part about desires? We're always searching for what we already have. Seriously. Everything we want, happiness, love, peace, freedom, it's already here. Right now. Inside you. That's nonsense, you say. If I already have happiness, why am I unhappy? If I have love, why am I lonely? If I have peace, why am I stressed? Good question. Imagine losing your keys. You turn the house upside down. But the whole time, the keys are in your pocket. You just forgot to look there. That's exactly what we do. We search for happiness in jobs, in relationships, in achievements, in shopping. Everywhere, except the only place it actually is. So where is it? In the seeker. In you. You can think you're unhappy. You can feel sadness, anger, fear. But at the core, you're always okay. Want proof? Remember your happiest moment, a wedding, the birth of your child, graduating. What made you happy? Was it the circumstances? No. The happiness came from inside. The event was just an excuse for you to allow it. Now remember your most painful moment, loss, breakup, failure. What made you suffer? Not the circumstances themselves. Your resistance to them. See. Both happiness and unhappiness come from within. Happiness is your nature. Unhappiness happens when you turn away from it. It's like the sun and the clouds. Clouds can't destroy the sun. They can only hide it. But the sun always shines. You are the sun. Thoughts, emotions, problems, just clouds. But we forget, and we start calling ourselves by the clouds. I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm a failure. And then we start searching for the sun, outside. We look for love from a partner, but love is already in us. We look for inspiration from a job, but inspiration is already in us. We look for happiness in a place, but happiness is already in us. We're like someone searching for glasses, while wearing them on their face. The more we search, the further away it feels. There's a story. A student came to a sage and said, "Master, I've been seeking enlightenment for 20 years. Meditation, books. Travel, India. I found nothing. What should I do?" The sage replied, "Stop searching." The student said, "But if I stop, I'll never find it." The sage asked, "What are you searching for?" "Enlightenment. Peace. Truth. And who is searching?" The student thought, "I am." "And who are you?" "I don't know." Then who is searching for something he doesn't even know? And suddenly it clicked. There was never anything to find. The seeker and the sought are the same. It sounds complicated, but it's actually simple. You search for peace, but how could you recognize peace unless peace is already in you? You search for love, but how could you know love unless you are love? You search for happiness, but how could you even imagine happiness unless happiness is your nature? That's the logic. We can only seek what we already know. And we only know what's already inside us. That's why every teaching says, know yourself. Not because it's difficult, but because everything you're chasing outside is already within. And once you see this, the search stops. Not because you found something, but because you realize there was never anything missing. It's like waking up from a nightmare. In the dream, you're running from a monster. Then you wake up, no monster. No running needed. Same here. We run from unhappiness, we chase happiness. And then we realize, unhappiness never really existed. And there was nowhere to run. Okay, you say, let's say happiness is inside me. Why don't I feel it? Because you're looking in the wrong places. Happiness is not in thoughts. Thoughts only have problems, plans, memories. Happiness is not in emotions. Emotions only have drama, highs and lows. Happiness is not in sensations. Sensations bring pleasure and pain. Happiness is deeper. It's in the very center of your being. How do you get there? You don't. You're already there. Just stop searching everywhere else. Right now, don't think. Don't try. Just be. Feel that lightness. That silence. That wholeness. That's it. That's what you've been looking for. But now, let's see why the mind keeps us unsatisfied. Why do we get what we want, and still not feel happy? Because of the very nature of the mind. The mind is a comparison machine. It cannot just be. It always compares, now with then, me with others, reality with expectations. You get a raise, but your colleague got a bigger one. You buy a car, but your neighbor has a better one. You find love, but you remember your ex, who was prettier. The mind never stops. That's its job, to create problems where there are none. You're hungry. The mind says, get food. You eat. Problem solved, right? No. An hour later, that food yesterday was tastier. Maybe I should have ordered something else. Now I'm getting fat. See the pattern? The mind turns every solution into a new problem. It's not a bug. It's a feature. The mind evolved to keep us alive. Always scanning, planning, comparing. In the cave, that kept us safe. But today, we don't need to think about survival every second. Still, the mind keeps using the same survival logic on happiness. To be happy, I must get this. Then protect it. Then get more. So happiness becomes a project. With deadlines, checklists, milestones. But happiness is not a project. It's a state. Like hunger, or tiredness. You don't plan hunger. Hunger just happens. You eat. It goes. Happiness is the same. It's there when nothing blocks it. And what blocks it? The attempt to get it. That's the paradox. The more you try to be happy, the further happiness slips away. Because trying means, I'm not happy now. And focusing on unhappiness creates more unhappiness. It's like trying to fall asleep. The harder you try, the more awake you are. Sleep comes when you stop trying. The mind has another trick. It creates an illusion of progress. First I wanted a bike, I got it. Then a car, I got it. So it works. I just need to want the right things. And now you start wanting spiritual things. Enlightenment. wisdom, inner peace. You think, this time, for sure, I'll be happy. But the mechanism is the same. You want peace, and feel restless because you don't have it. You want enlightenment, and suffer because you're not enlightened. The mind just dresses desire in spiritual clothes. But it's the same desire. And worse, it creates spiritual ego. Normal ego is honest. I want money, power, sex. Spiritual ego is sneaky. I want love for all beings. But deep down, it just wants to feel superior. And that's even more dangerous. But here's the good news. Once you see the game loses power. A desire arises, and you notice. The mind wants again. You don't resist. You don't suppress. You just see it. The desire is there. But you are no longer identified with it. Do you see a cloud in the sky? The cloud is there, but you are not the cloud. And then something magical happens. Desires keep coming and going. But they no longer control your life. You feel like coffee. You can drink it, or not. Want a new job? You can search, or you can stay. Both are fine. Want a relationship? You can meet someone. Or enjoy being alone. Either way, you're free. Not free from desire. But free within desire. And the most important shift. You stop chasing happiness in fulfilled desires. Because happiness doesn't depend on events. It depends on your attitude. And attitude doesn't come from the mind. It comes from the one who sees the mind. And who is that? The one who is always calm. Always whole. Always untouched by whatever comes and goes. Then the breakthrough arrives. You finally see, there is nothing to search for. Not a theory. Not a comforting idea. A living realization. That turns your whole life upside down. Imagine this. You've been digging for treasure your whole life. Traveling the world. Spending years, money, and energy. And suddenly you realize. The treasure was in your pocket all along. First comes anger. How could I waste so much time? Then laughter. How foolish I was. And finally, incredible relief. You can stop searching. But here's the twist. The mind panics. Its job is to find problems and solve them. And now, no problems. What about goals, ambition, progress? If you stop searching, you'll turn into nothing. This fear is natural. The mind is just afraid of losing its job. Like a taxi driver afraid of self-driving cars. But the mind won't disappear. It just changes roles. Instead of a dictator, it becomes a tool. Need to solve a problem. The mind switches on. Problem solved. It switches off. Like a calculator you use when needed. But don't carry running in the background. And when the mind is no longer running all the time, silence appears. Not outside, but inside. In this silence there are no regrets. No plans, no fears, no cravings. There is only what is. And what is perfect. Not because everything is pleasant. But because it simply is. Rain outside the window, not good, not bad. It's just rain. Your breath, not right, not wrong. It just happens. In that simplicity there is perfection. Sounds, sensations, thoughts passing by. None of it needs judgment. It simply exists. And you too, simply exist. Not good or bad, not success or failure. Just here. And in this just being lies everything you've been searching for. Peace, in accepting what is. Love, in not resisting what is. Happiness, in simply being what you are. Freedom, in not needing what you don't have. But then the fear arises. What about dreams? What about growth? Do I just sit and do nothing? No. Life continues. In fact, it becomes brighter. When you stop chasing happiness, you start noticing it everywhere. In morning coffee. In a stranger's smile. In the sound of rain. When you stop chasing love, you feel it everywhere. In a dog wagging its tail. In a flower breaking through asphalt. In your own heart. When you stop chasing peace, it comes alive. Not as stillness, but as presence within movement. You can be stuck in traffic and still feel peace. You can face big challenges and still feel silence inside. You can experience deep emotions and still remain whole. Because peace is not a situation. Peace is your nature. And then, life flows differently. You act not from need, but from fullness. You don't go to work out of fear, but simply because work is happening. You don't build relationships from loneliness, but simply connect with people. You don't create to become famous, but because creating brings joy. Life turns into play. Not a fight for survival, but a light game without rules or goals. You don't play to win. You play because playing is the prize. And strangely, when you stop chasing results, they start arriving on their own. Stop searching for love, you meet your soulmate. Stop chasing money, you find work you love. Stop proving your worth, people start valuing you. It's not magic, it's logic. When you don't cling, you attract. When you don't demand, you receive. When you're whole inside, others feel it and want to be near. And then life becomes simple. Incredibly simple. You wake up, not to conquer the world, but simply because sleep is over. You eat, not to fuel the fight, but because the body is hungry. You work, not for millions, but because it's part of the dance of life. You meet people, not to find friends or partners, but simply because connection is natural. Each action loses the weight of expectations and gains the lightness of being. You no longer live in the future. When I get that job, I'll be happy. When I find love, everything will be fine. You live here and now. And here and now is beautiful. Not always pleasant, but always alive. A toothache, painful, but full of life. Rain, uncomfortable, but refreshing. An argument, difficult, but raw and honest. Life stops being a chase for the pleasant and an escape from the unpleasant. It becomes acceptance of what is. And in acceptance, there is magic. Stop resisting pain, it loses its grip. Stop clinging to pleasure, it becomes even sweeter. Like floating in a river. When you fight it, the current drags you. When you relax, it carries you gently. And then the big questions disappear. Who am I? What's the meaning of life? What do I want? Not because you found answers, but because you realized they were never the right questions. It's like asking the ocean, who are you? The ocean is not someone. It just is. Or asking fire, what's your meaning? Fire has no meaning. It just burns. Or asking a flower, "What do you want?" The flower wants nothing. It simply grows. And so do you. You are not someone who needs to know. You just are. You don't need to find meaning. You are the meaning. Life itself lives through you. And in this simplicity comes gratitude. Not for something, but for the very chance to be. To be human. On this planet. At this time. To see the sky. To feel the wind. To hear music. To hug loved ones. Every day becomes a gift. Not because it's perfect, but because it exists. Every encounter, a miracle. Not because people are flawless, but because they are alive. Every moment, sacred. Not because it's special, but because it will never repeat. You begin to notice the details. The light falling through the window. The smell of morning. The laughter of a child. Before, you rushed past it all, chasing goals. Now you see, the goal was here all along. In every breath. In every step. In every heartbeat. A life without searching for happiness is not the absence of joy. It is the discovery of joy in everything. Not because everything is pleasant, but because everything is alive. And then you finally see the truth. You never wanted specific things. You wanted to simply be. Fully. Honestly. Without resistance. And now you can. Not in the future. Not one day when things get better. But right here. Right now. In any situation. And if this message has shifted something in you, leave a comment. Nothing to search for. Write it as a commitment. As the start of a new life. A life without searching for what you already have.